What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Lineman Life podcast. Today, we are going to have a little panel of guests here. My first guest who's here and our other guest who will be coming on, as you guys saw on my Twitter and on my YouTube community section. This is going to be a panel. We're going to talk about a lot of the headlines of the last week in sports. And with me right now is the owner of Geeks and Gamers, also Gaming with Geeks and Sports Wars, which I'm a part of as well.
And Park Hopping. Don't forget Park Hopping.
Let's not forget Park Hopping. Jeremy Prime, D-Day Cobra, as some may know him. What's going on, Jeremy, man?
What's up, man? Yeah, appreciate the invite, man. I'm sure everybody will get a little bit of a tease into what our group chats are like. Me and you'll start fighting here in just a bit because that's just what we do. But yeah, so it's good stuff. Heads up, I am getting some of the outer bands of the hurricane that's making landfall over in Louisiana. So I don't think my internet's going to be affected, but I might have some impact on that. But should be good to go.
Yeah, we hope that thing doesn't reach you. Obviously, it's hurricane season, y'all, and people are having to be cognizant of that. But, yeah, man, so, this week, I really wanted to talk about – we had a lot going on in the sports world. I know on Sports Wars, we talk in the chat on Sports Wars a lot about the different things that are happening that just kind of bring a whole new dynamic of, like, debatable topics to the forefront, and I think probably the biggest thing that's happened so far this week that I wanted to get to first, really, the Luka Doncic, and this is a big deal because I'm a diehard Mavericks fan. Mm-hmm. I've been a Mavericks fan since I was 9-10 years old. I remember when I actually, for the first time in my life, won a radio contest in Dallas, called into the radio station, won tickets to a Mavericks game, and my dad took me, and this was way back when they were in Reunion Arena in Dallas, and I saw the Mavericks for the first time. Jason Kidd's rookie year, they had Jim Jackson, they had Popeye Jones, all these guys who to me were legends at the time as a young kid who was into basketball. And from there, Dirk Nowitzki, him and Steve Nash, all the greats in the Dallas basketball franchise and the Mavericks franchise. And, I actually became friends with Dirk Nowitzki early in my football career. He sent me jerseys. I have his playoff jersey from 2006. He got me tickets to the finals when they beat the Miami Heat. So big shout out to @Swish41, Dirk Nowitzki, the homie from back in the day. But Luka Doncic is the next big rising star in the NBA. Like, this guy has kind of stamped his signature on the NBA, most notably with what happened a few nights back or when they played against the LA Clippers, game-winning buzzer beater shot, shades of Dirk Nowitzki, and just pulling that last-second three. He called game when he put the shot up, and he wears my number. He wears number 77. So also another big reason why I'm a huge fan of his. And it just kind of kicked in the door on the NBA. He was a star, but now he is one of the
next level
of the NBA. Mm-hmm. And there was a little bit of controversy that came with that when one of the Clippers players, I can't remember his name. I don't care about the Clippers.
It's Montrezl Harrell,
whatever the hell his name is. He, said something to Luka Doncic during the course of the game that really just, when I saw it, I just kind of shook my head, because in a situation like this, and especially in dealing with the kind of tensions that we have today in America, what he said to me was a racist thing to say, because if that situation was flipped and Luka said that same thing just on the opposite spectrum to him, there would be outcry and outrage from everywhere you could think of. And
yep.
I did a video on Deshaun Jackson, and I also did a write-up on Reddit on Deshaun Jackson and what his actions really said about the inability for a lot of people to really look inward and say, you know what, we can't call out different, situations where we deem it to be racist or we deem it to be, questionable as to why somebody would say that. But then when one of our own says something that is clearly questionable, we're not willing to call it out and give it the same kind of attention that it deserves. And when this whole thing happened with Luka, I really felt like once again, we were in a situation where, you have some people, not necessarily like it was with Deshaun Jackson, but that we have some people who are trying to defend what was said to Luka as, just kind of like court talk. But no. You can't look at it like that, because now you're deciding that you're going to trivialize one end of it, but treat with all depths of seriousness the other side. So, as we all know, there's two sides to a coin. You cannot have it, both ways. There has to be a compromise, a medium where we all understand that, you don't go there in certain situations. And I felt like, that people needed to call that out. Now, I'm glad to see that there were some who did, and there were some big names who did call it out. But I was disappointed when I saw people like Shaquille O'Neal tried to basically disregard a lot of Luka's shine, but also tried to look at what was said to him as sort of just a more subtle kind of jab that players take at each other when they're on the court. And I don't understand that. So what do you think about that, Jeremy? Like, I know you have strong opinions about consistency and how things are handled.
Yes.
So what do you think about that situation?
So in isolation, I think that the Luka Harrell situation was handled exactly how it should be handled by people. Men handled it on the court. He went up and he apologized to him like a man afterwards, and he owned his mistake, and it should have been left at that. And that's how I would like to see all of these situations be handled. Let the individuals hash it out themselves. Again, in isolation is the way I'm framing this. So, I played basketball growing up. I've been physically removed from basketball courts simply because of the color of my skin. I had to work harder to prove that I belonged on the court because I was just a goofy white dude. And, that's just how it was. Like, and
people don't want to play with me in NBA 2K online because my guy's white.
Ryan Kittle, welcome to the stream.
Already blowing it up. But yeah, so the situation in isolation, like I'm perfectly happy with how it was handled. The reality is, though, is yes, the media would have absolutely blown this thing out of proportion if it would have been the roles have been reversed and the races have been reversed. Luka would have been absolutely suspended for the rest of the year, and he would be under constant scrutiny unless he donated, money for the next 5 years and went through programs and all this other stuff. And so that's the problem here. How these two individuals handled it is how it should have been handled, to my knowledge. And I know Ryan covered it on the channel, but I'm pretty sure Luka didn't make a big deal of it, right?
Yeah, he didn't make it.
He just blew it off. Like, okay, you know what? We talked about it. He apologized to the dude afterwards. He handled it on the court. He called game. And that's how it should be handled. Like, that's how it should be handled. And unfortunately, that's not how things are handled today. The media blows things out of proportion and gets people riled up and Twitter and all this other shit. So that's what annoys me about it. So
what else could he do? What else could he do? They're literally sitting there at a place where everybody is hyper excited. They're going to go off about anything that happens socially to black people, right? If he was to bring up, I feel kind of bad that he called me a bitch-ass white boy. Like, nobody would want to hear that in there. None of them would want to hear that. Look what they did to Jason Isaac. Look what like current NBA players did, calling him out on Twitter just for simply not kneeling during the national anthem, right? I like
he's
it.
all accounts a great guy, like a great guy who does a lot for community outreach, and he's a minister. And just because, and he didn't even say anything. He didn't do what was expected. Therefore, they threw him under the bus. You've got ESPN people, Dan Lebitard, laughing at him getting injured. It's insane. It's insanity. It's insanity.
And that's another great example of kind of. I mean, it's I always kind of like stayed away from just this kind of term, I guess. But that is like mob mentality, like. People can't expect that everybody is going to have the same perspective. And, like Lebitard, when he made fun of a guy getting injured because the same night that he didn't kneel, all as if it's ironic, as if it's karma coming back and biting him, like that's sick to me. Like, because I've watched guys' careers end just because they planted their foot a little bit awkwardly and it blew out their entire knee, and they were never the same being able to come back. They were never able to get signed back to a team because of just no real fault of their own. Their knee just gave out on them. And, you never wish injury on anybody because you don't know what they're dealing with outside of that.
We as sports fans know, no matter how much we talk shit, no matter how much we argue, we can hate Tom Brady or we can hate Aaron Rodgers or we can hate LeBron James. You don't wish injury on any player. That's just the next, like, you just don't do that. A player is injured. The player gets injured and you're like, man, that's where you drop the fandom and we all kind of, come together and we're just like, okay. But yeah, the way that he was treated like that by people that are major voices in media was absolutely insane. I just couldn't believe that because I'm like, dude, this guy's a good guy. He's a really good guy, and he does a lot for a lot of people. And for you to bring karma into it, like in that respect, like, come on, man. So that was ridiculous. But it's representative of where we are now, and a lot of what ESPN is right now for sure.
It's not just ESPN, unfortunately. I love TNT. I love TNT. I've always loved watching Shaq. Well, Shaq's a more recent addition, but Charles, Kenny, and Ernie, and now Shaq for the past several years. I've loved watching them, and they sometimes do stuff that's not necessarily sports too. That's what makes it a fun, entertaining show. But the last couple nights have honestly, I've had to just turn it off. All they're doing is talking about social issues. All they're doing is talking about social justice issues. All they're doing is saying, like Shaq saying, oh, we got a vote coming up in November. We got to take care of this. We got to take everybody needs to go vote. You need to go vote if you want to get this changed. Like, what the fuck? I am there to watch basketball. Not only am I being not only do I have to listen to every post-game interview be about social justice from LeBron James, but then it's even the commentators for the next hour after the game. Instead of talking about what's happening on the floor, they're talking about what's happening in the streets.
Yeah, and look, I think that's something that also we kind of got to go into. Like, where is politics? What place does politics have in sports? Because I think at this point, you can't really say that politics doesn't have a place in sports anymore. I mean, and I honestly, I always felt like they were two separate things, that they were on separate sides of the road. And once in a while, one or two players may have something that they want to add to the public commentary about things that are going on in the real world. But, in the last, I guess, 4 years, let's say, since the now infamous knee that Kaepernick took, the lines have kind of blurred a little bit. I mean, politics is, at least for right now, in sports, it's a factor. And you look at the players in the NBA, you look at the players in the NFL. I mean, the guy now, I think, and I've said this before, I think players right now are starting to realize the kind of real power that they have if they work together, if they unite and leverage themselves to push a narrative to try and create some kind of change within their industry, and now you're seeing the NFL kind of falling in behind that. You're seeing the NBA definitely falling in behind that. It's become a part of sports, and once that happens, I mean, I'm pretty sure that we can all guess it's not going to change. It's not going back to being two completely separate things. And I always looked at it like this because, I understand when people say, I don't want politics in sports, but this is what I ask people to think about. I say, think about this. Why are we as athletes looked at to be the role models for your children? Why are we as athletes asked to visit hospitals where children are sick, talk to children at schools, be these active members in these communities that we live in as athletes, as professionals doing the job? Why are we asked to be role models, to be someone for people to look up to? But when we decide to actually step into that and embrace that role as a role model, and a role model isn't somebody who just does something to be looked up to. A role model is someone who actually takes the lead and can actually be a messenger for a lot of the community that does not have that same kind of platform. So now, why, as athletes, that in all this time that we've been told to be role models, why now, when we decide that we're going to be role models, that we're going to use our platform and talk about things that we feel the community wants us to talk about or bring to light, why is it that now, when that happens, people don't want politics in sports?
Because
politics have been in sports.
Okay, because it's not
behind the scenes, not in the forefront.
Because politics aren't being brought into sports. It's one side, one discussion is being brought into it. LeBron James has never said, I respect Trump supporters and their right to voice their opinions. I just don't agree with them respectfully. He's never said that. He's demonized people. He's absolutely
Okay. Hold on.
Demonized them.
How is he? What does he say? Has he made any disparaging remarks specifically about Trump supporters?
He literally took Trump's slogan and
I'm asking you, has he said anything disparaging directly about Trump supporters?
That says that Trump supporters are
does he have to
members of the community?
Does he have to?
If you want,
in order for it to be,
you said politics are being brought into sports and people's voices are being heard, and they're not introducing shit. LeBron James is basically saying Republicans are evil and Democrats.
Where did he say that? You have to look. You can't say he's basically saying.
I want you to tell me where the NBA won't allow MAGA on the back of their jerseys.
MAGA is not a social justice issue. That's what they're allowing, social justice messaging.
I'm pretty sure Herschel Walker stood up and said that
they don't allow free Hong Kong. They don't allow free Hong Kong.
Yeah, they don't allow Hong
Kong. Look, that's another thing. Hong Kong ain't got nothing to do with America.
Do they do business in Hong Kong?
Who?
The NBA.
Is it only American citizens in the NBA?
Huh?
Only American citizens in the NBA? We even have a Canadian team in the NBA.
What I'm saying is,
this is the point that politics are not introduced. It's only politics in a certain framework that it's allowed. That the NBA, the powers that be, are allowing.
So what? Look, it's not. I don't think it's in a certain framework. I think it's in. I think that they're looking at it from. I think that for the NFL, the NBA more so is looking at it from the perspective of we have a league that is majority African American and they have grievances. We can't ignore that. If they decide that they're not going to play basketball, we can't stop them, and we have no NBA anymore. If you want to talk about Hong Kong, well, the best way for something like that to be brought to the forefront would be by a player who's from Hong Kong. But you don't have any players from Hong Kong in the NBA. Now, you do have players from China, and they have been dead silent about anything that has to do with that because when
Daryl Morey spoke up, LeBron James threw him under the bus.
Yeah, I mean, LeBron James, look, I'm not a big LeBron. I don't like LeBron. I'm not a fan of LeBron as a basketball player, which is weird to say, but I hate LeBron. But from as a man, I can respect what LeBron is trying to do. Now, I think that he fumbles and trips over himself because he doesn't articulate his message in a clear and understandable way, because
he's a pseudo intellectual bitch.
Yeah, quite honestly,
really fucking smart.
Yeah, quite honestly, I don't think his vocabulary is big enough. But I understand, his intention. Now, again, the situation with Hong Kong, that's a situation that's far too complex for anybody in the NBA or any sports league to really comment on, because
who determines it's complex? Who determines that it's too complex?
Well, what do you know about it?
Well, I know that Daryl Morey knows a lot more than LeBron, and he wasn't allowed to have an opinion because LeBron had the powers to be.
How do you know?
Because the NBA even officially made comments on it. Adam Silver even commented on it and tried to put that fire out. Because why? Because you're not allowed to have an opinion in the NBA. You're allowed to have the approved opinion.
No, it's because, one, the NBA has contracts with the Chinese government, and China is.
So it's more about money. So it's not about social justice. It's about money.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So if it's about money, then take the politics out of it.
Exactly.
Because it's not about the politics. It's about the fact that you have the NBA, whose biggest fan is the Chinese population. They buy more NBA merchandise, NBA gear than anyone in the world. So
people can be oppressed as long as they give us money.
They're not oppressed. I mean, well, I'm sorry. The Chinese people, yes, they are oppressed.
Yes. Yeah.
But again, that is a situation that us on our side of the world, we can't.
LeBron James did tweet out that says injustice, no matter where it's at, needs to be called out. He didn't specifically say it was supposed to be in America. He said anywhere and everywhere, wherever injustice is, we have to speak out and be heard.
That's a true general statement. But the nuance of that is, as someone who's a professional, as someone who has money leveraged with a country like China to promote and endorse their sport, your political message will fall on deaf ears, because China is not legally in the wrong.
But you're making my point. You're making my point that it's not about politics.
I'm not arguing against you. I'm saying I understand what you're saying.
Right.
You shouldn't be talking about Hong Kong.
My entire thing is the NBA wants what they want talked about. That's it. They want the politics that they approve.
I mean, look, to a certain degree, that is correct. But at the same time, they're going to prioritize American politics over any other country's politics. That's just a guarantee, especially when it's dealing with somebody that actually a country that actually is a massive provides a massive amount of revenue for that league.
Yeah. But here's the thing, Uche, when you're talking about that, and I want to address something Spencer said a couple minutes ago when we were talking about having to tune in and watch all this stuff. He says that's exactly the point. To enact change, you have to make people uncomfortable. Well, the only thing that's going to make a lot of people change is the channel. And what that's going to do is directly affect the NBA's revenue. These ratings are absolutely in the tank. And China, yeah, that's a huge money pot. Another huge money pot for the NBA is white America. And right now, a lot of white Americans.
I would say that for the NFL, probably more true than the NBA.
You don't think for the NBA that's a big chunk of their money? White Americans.
I think it's definitely significant, but I would say
it's significant. Yeah,
I would say that Chinese and African American sales are the majority. I would say that.
Do you think that Black Americans spend more money on the NBA than white Americans?
Have you been to?
I'm not talking about per capita. I'm not talking anything like that. I'm talking about in total.
It doesn't make sense to do it in total, because it does. The math can never be even in any way. Now,
I'm talking about total. I'm talking about alienating a huge section of your fans.
Yeah, I think that's a bad idea. You don't want to alienate a substantial portion of your fans. But I also look at what's going on. And if you're saying that white America is the majority of, or is a substantial part of the revenue for the NBA, I agree with that. But
because you've seen that in the ratings.
But we'll see. There's the funny thing about ratings is a lot of times, how do I put this? They would be more inclined to have bad television ratings over bad merchandise sales because the rating money is guaranteed until that contract ends. It doesn't matter if you watch the game or not. They're getting the money for it. Now,
it's true.
Merchandising
over time,
over time, it becomes detrimental
because those TV contracts are almost up. Those contracts are almost up. They're going to have to re-up it. They're going to be half as much as they once were. Then the players aren't going to be getting the money. Then the owners aren't going to be getting that money.
But look,
that's the problem.
Exactly. You're right. But that's always the problem when you have these kind of things that flare up. The ratings are going to dip it's going to take a hit in the immediate. But over time, as you get closer to the finals, those ratings are going to climb right back up. People were talking about the NFL and how their ratings would tank after all of this stuff with Kaepernick. Well, what was the number one sporting event in the world that year?
Right, but they did, but the ratings did go down after Trump called them out.
Yeah, the ratings went down
and then they stopped kneeling, and then they stopped kneeling, and they went back up.
Well, look, that's not why they stopped kneeling.
Why did they stop? Did we cure racism?
No, they stopped kneeling because they
were losing money.
They said no. The NFL.
Yes, they were.
No, the NFL was not losing money.
Yes, they were.
Ratings don't mean anything for the NFL when they have a 10-year TV contract worth $20 billion. That money's guaranteed. It's in the paperwork. Whether we play the games or not, whether the ratings dip or not, it doesn't matter. We're paid. Every year, DirecTV pays the NFL $4 billion every single year.
But when you start having people like there was a widespread amount, and again, I know that's not going to be like a big number, but there was a somewhat decent percentage of people that were getting refunds on their NFL Sunday ticket when all of that was going on.
Yeah.
At some point, your advertisers are going to step in and go, hey, this is a problem. We got to correct this.
Yes, NFL Sunday,
and they suddenly stopped.
Dude, trust me.
They suddenly stopped kneeling.
Stopping had nothing to do with anything on the money.
Why did they stop?
Because the players sent their message over the course of the weeks as a team unified front, sending that message. After that period of sending that message, then the players who aren't necessarily just emotionally invested in sending that message every week, they return to their normal operation, as everything does in every situation like this. Now, the people who are heartily invested in continuing to pump out that message, they still did their thing on the sidelines during the national anthems. That didn't stop throughout the course of the entire season. What's his name? Eric Reed. Eric Reed took a knee for 3 years. And he was with the Panthers, a major player on their defense, and an outspoken guy in the locker room. And he didn't lose respect from his teammates for that, because you're going to let this man do his thing. If he's a man, if he wants to do that, that's fine. He's our teammate, so we got to back him up on the field. He's not losing. It's not like he's saying he doesn't want to play for us because we're not kneeling with him. He does. He's part of the team. He just has his own message that he's sending out, and that's fine because, hey, we're all in here as professionals. As long as he's doing his job and being a pro, we can't get mad at him for something he's doing on a personal end. That's him. And that's what I think a lot of people misunderstood about the NFL in that kneeling situation. This was not something that had anything to do with disrespect. It was, if anything, and it's hard. And football players, we can't understand why people can't get this. In football, one of the most respectful things you can do is take a knee. At the end of practices, head coach says, all right, guys, everybody up. Take a knee. If you're standing in the back, one of the coaches will be like, hey, take a knee. Like, taking a knee is a respectful gesture at the very core of it. So how can you think for 1 second that somebody taking a knee because the
hero Colin Kaepernick literally said, "I'm not going to stand for a flag that oppresses people."
That's him on his own shit saying that, but the message that he was,
I was told it wasn't about the flag.
About the flag. He has his own message that he wanted, that he spoke out to the media about.
So you're telling me that the kneeling has nothing to do with Kaepernick now?
What, the kneeling? The kneeling has everything to do with
Kaepernick,
with police brutality, which
against
is
whites too. Because more white people have been killed than black people.
Come on, let's not go into.
I'm just saying, more white people have been killed than black people. So
are we? Police brutality is an issue for everybody.
So why didn't we take a knee for Tony Timpa?
But it is specifically excessive against black people.
Why are more white people dead in 2020 from the hands of police than black people?
White people are 67% of the American population. 67%. That's 3/4 of the country is white. Every category that you can speak of, they will have the majority number in.
So me as a white man, I'm not supposed to fear for my life just because you're telling me that the numbers?
Hey, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is,
I'm just saying. I mean, I walk out of my house and I'm wondering, am I going to get shot from the police because there's been 220 white men or white people that have been killed by police? So I'm just, every time I turn the corner, I'm worried about it.
That number is irrelevant. That number is irrelevant because...
What number is relevant?
Because...
What number is relevant?
Hold on. That number is irrelevant because in the scope of what's trying to be affected, it's not about the numbers. It is about the culture of police brutality. It's not about, to me, and I'm speaking for myself here, it's not about whether a white person or a black person is brutalized by the police. It's about the fact that our fucking police don't know how to police. They are enforcers. They're enforcers for the counties, the cities, the states, from the most local to the federal. They are enforcers. They're not trained on de-escalation. They're trained on overwhelming force.
But you brought in percentages, right? No,
I said that America as a population is
no. But I brought up a point. And you battled it with a percentage, correct? Is that what you did? To offset my point, you brought up a percentage to offset my factual point, correct? It's a yes or no question. It's a yes or no question. It's a yes or no question.
Yes, I said that Americans were 60%.
Okay, because percentages matter. Percentages matter, right?
In context.
Right. So you're telling me police don't know how to police, yet 99% of all police officers are not involved in this stuff. But police don't know how to police because percentages aren't important right now, right?
Specific. There is a cultural problem with police.
99%? You mean 1% of people is a cultural problem? 1% of the entire population of police means there's a cultural problem with police brutality?
Let me because I've worked with police for years. As a business owner, I've hired police. I've had them work for me. I've had personal conversations with police officers here in Atlanta, and I know a couple of high-ranking ones. These cats do what they want to do. And the thing is that we don't really know the true numbers because police put whatever they want on the police reports. So the police reports already and I'm not saying this is, and again, don't get me twisted here. It's nowhere near a high percentage. But what is the saying? What is the old saying? One bad apple spoils the bunch.
So then all NFL players are drug addicts and woman beaters.
No, but the fact that there is a small percentage that get into trouble repeatedly and seem to
so name me anything that doesn't have a small percentage.
Let me finish. And I was getting there. Like everything in the world, when you talk about when you're dealing from 0 to 100 and good and bad in America, for example, we have X amount of crimes committed a year. But when you look at it from a population standpoint, I think it was under 15% of our population commits crime at all. It's a small percentage in most all cases that of people who create negative outcomes and negative outlooks for other people. But negativity is seen far easier than positivity, right?
If that's the case, then when people get in trouble, out of the 200 and something white people that have been killed this year, why have I not seen one video in circulation on the mainstream media or ESPN? Why have I not seen one video of a white person?
That's you trying to apply a square to a circle.
I'm trying to apply the fact that things are being blown out of proportion to fit a narrative.
Look, if one person gets brutalized by the police officer, to me, that's a problem. And that needs to be handled. Because if it's one person, it means that there's others that it's happening to that we don't know about yet.
So you're looking for 100% accuracy from police officers.
Well, I'm looking for what I say when I talk about police and how they handle their situations, because I've been pulled out of my car before. I've been stereotyped by a police officer to my fucking face before. as a business, and my business was right down the street. And I'm like, dude, I'm a business owner right down the street from here. Why are you treating me like I've already committed some kind of crime? You won't even tell me why you pulled me over. You don't have a reason to pull me over. So why am I sitting here in handcuffs right now? I didn't do nothing. You won't tell me why I've been pulled over. I gave you my name, my birth date, my social security number. Why did you pull me out of my car? Why am I in the back of your car in handcuffs? And why are you searching my car without even asking me to search it, as if I don't know that that's illegal? Why are you doing that? Oh, now I know the police officers that are over you, and now you want to be cool. So what does that tell me about the culture of what you're doing in that precinct?
So one interaction defines the culture of how many hundreds of thousands of police officers.
One interaction in my small world, one interaction that can be replicated 1,000,000 times across the board. Black, white, brown, yellow,
1,000,000 times?
Between. Anything in between. Dude, yes. And
1,000,000 times.
Look, let's not.
I'm asking for the arbitrary number that you want police officers to have before you determine there's not a problem.
You can't say that shit. That's dumb to even look at it like that.
I'm just asking. I'm telling you right now, 99% of police officers don't commit these brutality that you claim is running rampant among all police officers. So I'm asking for what's the number you're looking for? 100%.
Listen to me. Listen to me when I say this, because I think that you're trying to apply this logic, this literal numbers game to it, but you're not looking at what is far more important, which is the bigger picture of what kind of foundation is the values of, whether it be police or whether it be people on the street every day. Where are the foundations of your values and beliefs? Where do they sit? What are they based on? So you look at the police and you say, okay, when a police officer interacts with me, if I'm a citizen who understands my rights, one, I don't have to answer anything a cop says to me. Unless I am being suspected of committing a crime, which you have to articulate what crime I am being suspected of committing and how I am now being detained until you can investigate and know what the actual outcome should be. Police officers, how many times do they tell you to give them your ID or your license, whether it be on the street or whether it be in your car? You don't have to give them shit if you're not told what you're being suspected of doing. If you ask that officer, am I being detained or am I being suspected of committing any crime right now? If that officer says no, I can turn around and walk away. It is my constitutional right to do so. He has no right to even ask me another solitary question at that moment as to what I'm doing or why I'm where I'm at. If you don't have an articulatable way or crime that you suspect me of being involved in some way, shape, or form. How many officers walk up and stop and frisk in New York? That was outlawed for one reason, because it broke the constitutional rights of Americans. And when you looked at the numbers and who was being stopped and how they were being handled, the African-American community was being stopped at 4 times the rate of other races in the New York area. So
are African Americans crime higher statistically than other races, predominantly within the race?
No, their crime rate is within the community. Black, if you're talking black on black.
I just mean black. I mean the percentage of black people versus the crimes that are committed in the black community is a higher percentage than that of white. When you talk about breakdown of percentages per capita. Per capita, yes, they have a higher percentage of crimes. But again, if you want to dig into it, you go under that layer, that initial. Okay, this is the percentage. This is the number. Okay, well, let's look at the police reports and see how do these crimes pan out. A guy gets, car smells like weed. A police officer finds just a stem of weed in his car. Not even the weed, just a stem. Is weed illegal in this circumstance? Is weed illegal?
Hold on.
Yes or no? I'm trying to understand.
Here's another thing that police officers won't tell you. It is the police officers, it is to their discretion 100% as to whether or not they will arrest you for anything that is not a felony. It is their discretion. Because it's as good as a citation if it's not a felony. So it is up to the officer to decide whether to put you in handcuffs at that point, or he could actually just write you a citation and give it to you, and you have to go to court. So if you find a stem in a guy's car, and it's not even like one nugget of weed, it's like the stem that doesn't even have any flour on it, and you decide to take him to jail, he is now part of that statistic, even though in reality, that was excessive to even take him to jail for something like that.
But is weed illegal in this circumstance that we're talking about?
All right, here we go. Is weed
it's
illegal?
a yes or no question.
Illegal? No, weed is not illegal across the board in this country. No.
I'm talking about in this situation you're talking about.
In that situation, I guess it must.
Okay, well, you know how many times I've been pulled over and taken to jail for weed? None, because I don't smoke weed.
That's you. Again, you're talking about.
I don't break the law and I don't get arrested. What a novel idea. I don't break the law and I don't get arrested. Amazing.
Your personal
It's an amazing.
I didn't break the law, and a cop pulled me out of my car and put me in handcuffs. And he was trying to do everything he could to take me to jail until I told him who I knew. So what?
Okay, you found a bad cop. There's bad cops out there.
I'm not even saying he's a bad cop, because honestly, I didn't think he was a bad cop. I thought he wasn't trained well. I thought he wasn't trained in actually dealing with people. He was trained in defeating any situation that he deems to be a threat, I guess. I don't know. But when I look at the entire, like I said, it comes down to a culture. And I've talked, like I said, I talked to cops. I'm not going to say I know what their culture what their culture is, but I understand kind of how, at least in Atlanta, how police operate. And at the end of the day, what I've been told is it comes down to what's on that police report. Now, who is going to believe the guy in handcuffs and what he says happened over what a police officer says happened on a police report? Nobody. Is the judge? No, unless that guy has a good lawyer who can show where there was a mistake made by the police, which you can't do unless you got a body camera or if somebody videotaped it. Unless you can do that, a lot of guys are at the mercy of the officer and what is on the police report. And that's where I'm saying, in my view, as with athletes, there has to be, at some point, if we're going to be role models, then we have to step up and at least try to start a discussion so that people.
But there is no discussion to be had. It's we're right, and if you vote for Trump, you're wrong. That's the discussion. I've never heard LeBron James say that. I've never heard an NBA player say that we respect the fact that people voted for Trump. I've never heard an NBA player say that.
But you've also never heard an NBA player say that Trump supported.
I heard Doc Rivers say that Republicans. I heard a blanket statement entire Republicans last night.
Again, you've never heard LeBron James, and we're talking about players here, or any other players in the NBA say that people who support Trump are
I've never seen a sports team go to the White House until Trump was in office.
You guys fucking done yet? Jesus fuck.
You have never heard any athlete say that anyone who supports Donald Trump is not American. You have never heard any athlete say that anybody who voted for Donald Trump should be sent back to where they came from. But you have heard that same sentiment come from people on the other side, even though I wouldn't.
Who?
Hold on. Let me finish. I wouldn't say that it was athletes. I've never heard an athlete talk like that. I've never seen athletes in team sports pick sides and go head to head on when it comes to political things.
They didn't go to the White House because Orange Man was in the White House.
Hold on. That's not to say that they don't have differing opinions, but there is enough respect between a lot of players within the locker room atmosphere, within the locker room environment, that it doesn't look. That's not something that's going to make me, any less of a teammate, any less of a friend, because it's deeper than that. And that's one thing that football affords people on a level that you don't see anywhere else in the world. I think football destroys the team sport, like football destroys the notion of bias, racism. It really does. I've never have thought of color until as something that really was in my head and actually affected how I began to think about stuff, trying to overanalyze. I've never thought about color as a football player because color just did not exist. I never cared about it. I was indifferent to anybody talking about racism because it didn't exist in my world. I had athletes who were my best friends, who I consider brothers. They ain't black. I have been taught by coaches who are father figures to me myself, and they ain't black. They don't come from a black culture or black background or nothing. But that's because all of that disappears when you're unified, working towards one goal. When you know that I need this guy to do what he has to do, or this whole play isn't going to work. I need this guy to be here on this when we're running a play at this particular portion of the game, because that could be the game. We could win or lose based on our ability to trust each other and work together. Why the fuck can't people in America do that? Why does it matter what you believe in if we're all working towards one goal, being able to live a comfortable life? Athletes are bringing it to the forefront from where they feel they can. They're not experts on this shit. They don't really know the data. Hell, none of us really know the data. We know what is out there for us to look at, but it's deeper than just the data. And for people to ignore that and think just because somebody wants to come out and talk about it, that now it means, it must mean that you think everyone else is bad or racist. No, it means that I can only tell you from what we're experiencing that we want there to be some kind of reform. We want there to be some kind of change, because people are going to start looking. If we weren't saying it, people would be looking at us and being like, "Why? What are y'all going to do about it? What are y'all going to do to help us? Y'all are the ones who are out here on TV making money, role models. Why ain't y'all out here talking about how these cops, shot up my brother the other night because he got pulled? He had a warrant and decided he wanted to run, so he blasted him in the back while he was running, and here we are. How come y'all won't put that out there? If it was a black person,
I don't feel sorry for somebody that runs from the police and puts a community in danger.
Running from the police means you should die.
What it means is that you putting yourself in danger if you are not complying with police.
Does running from the police mean you should die?
It means that whatever circumstances follow, you brought that upon yourself.
You give motherfuckers life in prison without parole for chopping up children, for hurting little kids.
Has nothing to do with the situation we're talking about.
And we won't give them the death penalty. But if a dude runs from a cop because he doesn't want to pay for child support, and hey, if you catch him, he's going to
the cop doesn't know that. The cop doesn't know that.
The cop does know it. When they pull your name up and it has a warrant in there, it tells
someone is running from the police, that person could be putting other innocent people in danger. It's the cop's job to make sure that person doesn't harm anyone else.
Okay,
that's what it comes down to.
He's running from you. Who else?
So if I hear that the cops pull somebody over in my neighborhood and they run from the police and my kid and my family are in this neighborhood and that person gets shot, I'm going to be like, thank you, police, for protecting my fucking family. You run from the fucking police, and you deserve whatever the fuck happens to you if you're putting other people in danger.
That's stupid. How is
that stupid?
Because
you're a criminal.
Listen,
you're running from the police.
Who's a criminal?
My family is far more important than a criminal.
You're a criminal because you run from the police? Now you're a criminal. Now you deserve
200 and something white people are shot from the police, and guess what? They were criminals.
Did they do anything that would result in the court of law?
The police don't know that in the moment.
The police aren't trained to understand.
The police are seeing that there is a criminal running from the police, and they are putting other people potentially at danger.
There is a person of interest running from them. Do we know if he's committed a crime?
If they're running, they've committed a crime if they're running from the police.
Dude, I ran
more than likely,
I was a teenager.
Innocent people don't run from the police.
I ran from the police when I was young just to see if they would chase me. I saw a cop car coming down the street, and I'm walking in my neighborhood, and I see him from way down there. I would wait until me and my friends used to play a game with this. And why are we playing a game with this? Because we see it all the time on TV.
I'm more worried about innocent people being protected from criminals.
And you know what I would do? I would run. As soon as I saw the cop, I would look back and take off in between the house that I was near.
So what's the cop supposed to do when someone runs? Just let them run?
Well, again, that's what we have the law and the Constitution for, right? So
you're supposed to let him run.
If I run from a cop, does that mean that I've committed a crime?
No, I'm asking, what's the cop supposed to do in this situation? Oh,
if
well,
he has not been alerted.
Go back to the office.
Person of my description is someone that is being suspected of something. Then yeah, keep your ass on driving, because me running doesn't mean damn.
So we're supposed to. So the police are just supposed to let people run now.
If you haven't committed a crime, why would a cop chase you if you ran from?
Why would you run from a cop if you haven't committed a crime?
There's a number of reasons why you could. You might be scared of cops.
Oh, and whose fault is that?
Or you might be a young dumb kid like me when I was like 12 and run to see if he'll chase me.
So the cops are not supposed to worry about anyone else in this situation. If you see someone running from the police, they're just supposed to go, well, who cares if that person runs into a random house and holds up the? Who cares if they go into a business? Who cares what happens, right?
You creating a scenario. I'm
not
asking.
No, because this is not Minority Report, right? We don't have these balls that say, hey, this motherfucker's gonna murder somebody in 30 minutes. Listen, there is a legitimate conversation, a very good conversation to have about what power cops should have, and if ultimately using a counterfeit 20 should result in a death sentence. Should they have the power to do that effectively? That's a conversation that I think a lot of people could have.
And that's a big part of it.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Whether it be a little bit of weed, or whether it be a $20 bill, whether it be fake cigarettes, whatever it might be, right? Should that result ultimately in the police using deadly force? That's a question to be had. But I think one of the infuriating things for me to watch is when we have the situation that happened up in Wisconsin, right? We have Jacob Blake. We have that happen. And the entire world, all the sports world, all the athletes speak out. The Detroit Lions cancel practice over this, right? But when we had Ryan Whitaker killed in Arizona, it's crickets, right? A white man killed by police in Arizona.
It's not about police brutality,
right? Let me finish. I've been quiet for a while.
Yeah, I hear you.
When we have, and even if it's not necessarily about police brutality, when it's about other lives at stake at the hands of specifically racism, when you have a white boy shot in the head, literally just because they're white, and you don't hear anything about that. It's not about no justice. It's not about social justice. It's about a very specifically determined thing that we're getting upset about, that we have to see when we're watching sports. And it's why it's really frustrating to watch that, because it is only about specific Black lives that are killed by police, because it's not about all Black lives. We know that. Whether they were killed in a riot or in the streets of Chicago, it's not about all Black lives.
There's going to be a face to every movement. There's always a face. There's always kind of a targeted look to any kind of movement socially throughout any country. It doesn't matter where you look. And in history, that's just how it is. You put a face to a movement. But I agree with you. If a white guy gets killed by a cop, and it's completely unjustified from the outsiders looking in, that should warrant the same. That should fall in with everything that's being kind of protested for, and the movements that are being started around that. I feel like those people are included in that. To me, I already think of them as part of that. Yes, there is
twice as many white people have been killed this year by police, and not one of them has been talked about.
Again, you're
not one has been talked about.
A number. I'm talking about the context. Okay, if a guy walks into a store or walks in and tries to rob a store, and he's got a gun, and he's a white guy, and a cop kills him, that goes down as a white guy getting killed by a cop. Was it justified? Yes. So why would we talk about that? So now let's go back to what the meat of this is.
Why do you put context to it when it's a white guy getting killed? The black guy gets killed. There's no context needed.
If a white guy gets killed and he's not doing anything that appears to warrant him getting killed, then I feel just as pissed about that as if it was a black guy. Because to me, it's not
more egregious. There are far more egregious videos of white men being killed by police, not one fucking outrage.
I have not one. I have yet to see him.
You have not seen the Tony Timpa video or the Daniel Schaefer video?
Right. Okay, well, 2 videos, right? Okay, well, those 2 videos,
horrific shit.
So, and I don't disagree. I'm not saying that it wasn't,
but nobody cared because of
it was overshadowed. One of them I know was overshadowed because of what was going on with the whole George Floyd situation, yada yada yada. That happens too, bro. Like, people weren't talking about Breonna Taylor. They weren't talking about about her situation until after the situation with George Floyd. That's when people kind of went back and was like, whoa, people weren't talking about the kid here in Georgia who in February caught the shotgun blast to the chest from father and son. That didn't even come out, and they tried to cover that up. They tried to cover it up. They
didn't talk about David Dorn either, because Black Lives don't matter.
David Dorn, the guy who was who was a decorated police officer who served his community for decades. And you know
if he was just politely, peacefully, resisting arrest, LeBron James would have made him the biggest martyr in the world, But David Dorn happened to just be an upstanding citizen and a police officer, and he's not really that important.
Situation where that guy became a victim of circumstances, and it's a tragedy. And people have come out and said it. Just because you ain't read it, don't mean people ain't said it. And
who said it?
Bruh, people talk.
Name one athlete that talked about David Dorn.
Bruh, there have been a few NFL players. There have been a few NFL players who have talked about that guy getting killed. And you know what guys say?
Did anybody wear David Dorn shirt on their jersey in the NBA? Did anybody have David Dorn, R.I.P. David Dorn on their jersey? That's a social justice issue. Nope. Didn't fit the narrative. So of course NBA didn't allow it.
Hey, I think that we might have some breaking news here, thanks to Tugs and Jay. It looks like Bucks and Magic, they might protest this game and not play this playoff game.
Yeah,
I heard they were considering that.
But now they've both completely cleared the court. They're gone. Game's supposed to start right now. Nothing's happening. They haven't told the media what's going on.
I can feel you wanting to make a video for Sports Source right now.
Yeah, well, I keep trying to upload this fucking Dan Snyder video, and it keeps going fucking limited. I don't know why.
All right, so let's kind of merge this discussion into.
You need to retitle this shit right now. You need to retitle this to Bucks and Magic boycotting NBA game right now. I'm serious. You'll pick up algorithm.
All right, here we go. So Bucks and Magic boycott NBA. Oh, I spelled boycott wrong.
Dude, look, that LeBron troll account is so good. Give me a screen share.
The Bong Games.
So and again, I mean,
screen share.
I think. Sorry, hold on. I think. Okay. All right. Screen share. There we go.
Yeah, so this is the Bucks still haven't come out to the court. But this LeBron comment, he's on every one. This is why LeBron James is the greatest player of all time. Every sports tweet, this dude, it doesn't matter what it's about.
LeBron X GOAT. So again, something like this. We're looking at this situation here. Bucks and Magic supposed to be playing in a playoff game. And again, I think this speaks to players having that kind of leverage now because they've been kind of thrust into this.
Hang on. Random person says, and this is why you guys are awesome, having a great session, but still be chill about it. Yeah, I mean, this is what we do. What we do every fucking day in our freaking group chat. You think this is intense? You see the halftime, I just mute the damn conversation when Uche gets going. I'm like, fucking.
And real talk, I hate to admit this right here, right now, but I kind of troll. I'm trolling Odin right now. That's kind of my purpose.
He was watching earlier.
Yeah, I saw him, and I was like, yes, he's watching. Yes. No, it's. I think it's good for people to debate things. Like if you
100% do. See, this is my. Here's the thing about when I say I have big problems with people like LeBron James and the NBA and all of that. It's because at least from my perspective, okay, how I feel. I don't feel that they're interested in dialogue or a conversation.
I think
Uche disagrees with me on a lot of issues, socially and politically. he watched Geeks and Gamers for a year before you reached out to me, and just kind of getting to know who I was and everything like that. And he knew I was a Trump supporter, and he's obviously not. And, but he still decided to reach out to me and talk to me about, because he saw we were building a Geeks and Gamers. And, I'm 100% okay.
I'm a gamer.
Yeah. And I'm 100% supportive of Uche and his, opinions and his takes on things. And I want him to continue to, use the Geeks and Gamers platform, Sports Wars, or wherever to, as long as we're like, again, I don't make any blanket political statements on the platform. I always make political statements intertwined with what's going on within sports or in the gaming or entertainment world. But, if Uche wants to have a different take than me, or a different take than Ryan, or if Ryan wants to have a different take than me, that's fine, man. Like, I'm all for the conversation and the dialogue. And that's one thing I do really appreciate out of Uche, is that he didn't judge anybody or anything based on political affiliations. He looked at the bigger picture about what we had going on. So,
yeah. And dude, I think people are just getting way too caught up in a lot of this.
What is it, Ryan? What is
official? Well, not quite officially, but a source tells Woj they've decided to boycott Game 5.
Yep, Woj just retweeted about ESPN. The Bucks players made this decision.
Yeah, Adam Schefter just tweeted right now: Lions canceled the practice. Now the Bucks have canceled the playoff game. And look, let's be real about this for a second. It's a worthless. I'm not gonna say it's worthless. I'm gonna say it is a moot gesture, because they're gonna play that game. Doesn't matter if they boycott it today, they're going to play tomorrow. If they boycott it tomorrow, then they're going to play on Friday. If they boycott it on Friday, they're going to play it. They're contractually obligated. It doesn't matter. And that's where for me, I'm like, look, I understand it's frustrating for a lot of people who love sports to have these kind of things happen. But don't take it to heart so seriously, because and so seriously by saying that, I mean, don't now become an anti-NBA fan or an Milwaukee Bucks or Orlando Magic fan, because they're doing this not for them. They're doing it to bring attention to something, but they have every intention of playing that game. And the quicker we can get to a point in this country where where all the tension about all these issues can be rectified to a degree, the degree that it can, and people's levels of confrontation calm back down, we'll see a world of sports that we recognize again. And people have to just chill a little bit. People got to chill. People are too ready to get in a fight, and when they get in a fight, it's a personal fight over issues. Like, have a debate with the mindset of, okay, I'm not going to sit here and act like everything I think is absolutely right, because I'm one person who has one view. There's any other person can have their own view, and in their minds, they might think that they're right. So who am I to say?
I just saw Ryan's comment. I'm going to make an anti-NBA video. He said that's a private chat.
he said I'm going to make an anti-NBA. I'm paying for it. I'm never watching it again.
I'm actually going to try to get that out right now, Uche.
Yeah. So go. You can bounce.
Go ahead. I'm going to bounce. I'll make it. If you guys are still going when I'm done, I'll come back though.
Okay.
Yeah. So
thanks, guys. It was fun to listen to you argue.
This is literally exactly like the fucking into an all-out bar argument.
Yeah, literally exactly like the fucking chat. So that's what it is. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you later. I might be back.
Yeah.
Okay, man. Sure. All right.
So now it's me and Jeremy.
It's pretty much what it's been the whole time. Anyway, it's just been.
so like. I look at this situation with the Bucks, and I think it's unfortunate. I think it's definitely got to be a disappointment for people who are wanting to watch the game. But damn, I mean, they're still going to play the game. They're not. It's not like this game isn't going to be able to be played. They're going to play it.
I mean, I'm not. I really am not invested in the NBA right now since the bubble and everything.
I'm a Mavericks
if
fan,
if this was an NFL game, because NFL games happen once a week and there's this build up to an NFL game every weekend. I mean, I could see that being such a massive, either message that the players would be sending or a massive fallout from a fan standpoint because of how much an NFL game is anticipated every single weekend. I see this as, whatever, really. I mean, I'm a Magic fan, but I'm just not invested in the bubble this year. I'm just not. And everything honestly everything has turned me off. All the political stuff has turned me off. But at the end of the day, I think the most important thing is to have conversations with people you disagree with. I totally appreciate and respect Uche's point of view. I know he's had experiences that I've not had. I've had experiences that he hasn't had, and we both have our points of view, and neither point of view is necessarily right or necessarily wrong. It's more about giving context. So yeah, it's more about giving context from different points of view and understanding the opposing point of view. Yes, I don't know what it's like to be, a black man who is successful and driving, probably a really nice vehicle and being a business owner and, minding your own business and just being pulled over because you might fit the description of someone or something and being treated like a criminal when reality is you haven't. I don't know what that's like. I have no idea. But I do know what it's like to be a white boy walking on a basketball court and being physically removed because of the color of my skin and having my Jordans taken from me because I was not the right color. Like, these are literally things that have happened to me. I have been jumped before because of my shoes, because I was told I can't wear Jordans, because I was a huge Michael Jordan fan growing up and I was a huge basketball fan. And I have no ill will towards those moments. To me, it made me a better basketball player, and I am a good basketball player. And I had to work hard to earn that respect. I knew every time I walked on a basketball court with those predominantly black people, because number one, I knew when I walked on a basketball court and there was a bunch of white boys, I wasn't going to get no competition. So, so when I walked on the basketball court with black dudes, I knew I had to earn my spot and I had to show that I belonged, because I was already not going to be respected based on my appearance. And
you had to work twice as hard to get
absolutely.
approval.
Absolutely. And, that's just, again, that doesn't make it right, but I don't view it as anything other than that's life and we all have to go through things. But me going onto a basketball court and having to earn my way is, while it sucks, if you frame it in that way, it's still not the equivalent of, being a black person and fearing for your life if you get pulled over by the police. So again, I'm completely aware and I understand Uche's point of view. I have a very, very, I'm very strong in my opinions and my beliefs, but when you put me sitting next to someone that has different beliefs than me, I'm going to listen. I'm going to take all that information into account. And at the end of the day, I would hope we can just shake hands, which me and Uche always do that. But I'm just saying in general, like I said, if I had the opportunity to fucking interview Brie Larson, I would do it in a respectful way. I would not just trash her. I would ask her tough questions. I would be very, very vocal about where I stand, but I would not be disrespectful. I would not disrespect her.
I think that's a huge thing that we got to, and look, I tell people, hey, if like me and you, we debate about, a lot of different topics, but generally we kind of have the same likes about that. We like the same kind of things. Mm-hmm. And I always tell people, I'm more concerned about the ability of people in any certain environment to be able to have conversations without turning into enemies than I actually am about what you believe in. I'm not concerned so much about what people necessarily believe in from a political standpoint.
I can confirm that. That's exactly how Uche is.
I don't really care. I really don't. But
he doesn't.
If we're gonna, if we debate these things and have a quasi argument about it in just the social setting, and now you really are like, okay, I can't even be friends with you because you believe these. I can't vibe with that, and I think that's where too many people who have been good friends in this country, too many friends are no longer friends because of those kind of discussions.
I've lost friends over being a Trump supporter.
I've lost friends. I've lost friends not, and it wasn't, I didn't want to break the friendship because they were Trump supporters, because again, I didn't care. I stopped being friends with a few of these people because they took that to a personal level when talking to me. They took it personally and then became rude and disrespectful to me personally, when I never in my wildest dreams would ever do that to them, because that part of your whole world is not really tied to me. It's not tied to your personality and who you are, because I know who you are. But you have allowed that certain part of your I guess your belief system to change how you feel about me on a personal level. I'm the same person.
Here's the thing people don't understand about Uche too. He's such a troll on Facebook. Everything Trump says, this motherfucker just has this.
If you don't agree with me, like just talking, please don't go look at my Facebook, because I do that on purpose.
He just talks so much shit.
To get people to talk about it, because
he talks so much shit on Facebook. Because
people just want to talk and be agreed with instead of talk and find out that, hey, there may be more to it than just this or that. That's where when you talk about things like with LeBron James talks and all these, and athletes some athletes that don't really know how to send a message, try to send a message, and they come off making these blanket statements that don't really make sense and really kind of put the message they want to get across in a bad light. That's where, for me, I can't vibe with them. Every time I see LeBron James in front of a microphone getting ready to talk about something, I'm like, damn, I just kind of expect for him to not really be able to talk about it the right way, because he doesn't know how. He has all this money, and that's fine. He has all this talent, which is great. But he's missing some things when it comes to actually understanding nuance. Nuance is a big thing that a lot of people do not understand. Nuance is where the real details and real true understandings of many things in life sit at. They sit in the nuance behind the actual action or the actual statistic. There is nuance that actually gives it more context and makes it more understandable to those who can can identify it. And a lot of people in this country don't understand nuance, and it makes a lot of people look stupid. It makes them look unintelligent. And you sharing the screen?
This is completely unrelated, but I was going to show it to you when you got done. So, because I know you'll be happy as hell.
Let me get off my soapbox.
Yeah. That's why I didn't interrupt you with it.
All things being said, I love to have debates about things, because it just gives you more. It broadens your perspective. You get to see a little more, even if you want to admit it. You see a little bit wide. You have a little bit more of a panoramic view than you did before, and we need to get back to just being more civil. And sports, again, it's just one piece of the puzzle that now athletes are becoming part of the political spectrum and how they communicate messages. But we just need to become more civil about that.
I think this is a point you can make if you want, for a future video, or maybe you can do another little collab like this. But for me, like, it's not so much about the political messaging that's taken over sports. From my perspective, it's about how I feel that my political opinion is not welcome. I feel that I feel the NBA is not interested in my opinion, and they present it in the fashion of they're not interested in my opinion. They're not interested in a differing opinion. They're just interested in theirs, and that's how it's viewed, and that's how it's shaped. And I think you, as a former athlete, could go.
I can see that that's not the proper way. That's not the way to show the kind of respect to everyone that's due to them by our Constitution. First and foremost, First Amendment is the right for you to express your opinion and not be silenced or disregarded because of it. Now, does it mean that your opinion is going to be agreed with people necessarily? No, nobody's opinion is 100% agreeable. That would be considered a fact once you get to that point. 1 + 1 = 2. That is 100% agreeable. Nobody's going to argue that. But, the Patriots are the best team in the NFL. It's
not
close.
no more. Not no more. Not no more.
Close to a fact, but there's never going to be 100% consensus on that. So
Right.
why would there be 100% consensus on anybody's opinion? But the thing is, you cannot tell one side that their opinion isn't relevant or shouldn't have it shouldn't be able to get the ear of anyone else, because now that means you're splintering. They're splintering people. You're alienating people basically, and when you alienate people, that's going to create resentment. That's going to create conflict. Like, people don't like that, and I do. That's one of the reasons why I post the way I do on Facebook, is because I know, and the people who are on, people who agree with me, they, some of them know me. Some of them do know me. They've known me for a while. The people that don't agree with me, that are on every post and don't agree with me, some of them know me as well, and they've known me a long time, and they'll come on there and argue as heated as you can imagine, but they appreciate that I allow them to come on there and argue, and I don't block them like a lot of people would do. If you have a different opinion. They'll block you so you can never talk to them because they want to be in their own little echo chamber. I'm not about echo chambers. Ain't no walls.
He wouldn't have came talk to me if he was about an echo chamber.
Exactly.
That's for sure.
Exactly. Like, you either get along with people or you don't. But
I mean, yeah, you invited me and Ryan on here, who obviously, if you watch the Sports Wars content that we've been producing, drastically disagrees with a lot of what Uche says, and he invited both of us on here to talk to him, and then I've got these fucking DC fanboys in him and Ryan that I have to deal with. But yeah, I figured this would make you happy right here. So DC fandom, Warner Brothers game-changing Comic-Con alternative, generated a massive 22 million global views over 22 countries and territories in a mere 24 hours. DC fandom fucking killed it, dude.
It was dope, dude. I honestly did not expect, and people who come to my channel regularly, they know that, when DC Fandom happened, I literally streamed it from the moment it started to the moment it ended. I got like 30 copyright claims. I get a copyright claim every couple of hours still today about that stream. I don't care about getting any money from it. I don't care, because I'm a DC fan. I've been a DC fan my whole life, and it was dope, man. They really did. They had a couple of SJW moments, as everyone seems to have now. Where they kind of talked more specifically about, race relations in the comic book industry, and or not race relations so much, more so where Black folks or where minorities can fit in to the comic world when it comes to the higher positions in, creating new comic book characters or taking over certain stories, certain character storylines. Which, it was 10, 15 minutes, and then they moved on to something else. It wasn't something that was just lingered all over the dang broadcast.
I mean, so we did the Gaming with Geeks podcast that morning. Then we did the Park Hopping podcast, and honestly, could not focus on anything because DC fandom was everywhere. Yeah. It was taken, and that's how it should be. That's how these events should be. And I was so happy with that. So it was great, man. So
again, I really felt like, this is a big opportunity for DC, especially in their films, to really kind of take that mantle away from the mantle of the film studio away from Marvel. Because they have the Snyder Cut, which I think they're actually I think this is a little bit of a game changer, what they're doing with the Snyder Cut and making it a 4-part miniseries that'll be 4 hours long, which basically means we're getting Justice League 1 and 2. If you're just looking at it from a time, amount of time that the movie runs, the entire movie is 4 hours plus. So they're breaking it down into 4 1-hour bits, and it's actually got, a 300, let's say, I would even go as far to say total all in combined with 2017 Justice League. They've got to combine about $400 million into this thing. So it is going to be the highest of budget films cut down into a miniseries, put on their streaming service. It'll get them it's likely to get them a couple of million subscribers by itself. I already subscribed to HBO Max just for the Snyder Cut. I haven't even clicked on the HBO Max app that I have. I never looked at it, but I know one thing. They're charging me, I think, $9.99 a month or $14.99 a month until Snyder Cut comes out, because I signed up for it the moment that they officially announced it. I mean, Jeremy knows this. I'm as big a Snyder fan as you're ever gonna find. And you look behind me, there's armored Batman, Ben Affleck, and there is Diana, and in the middle, my Superman one broke, so I got a bobblehead Superman and Darth Vader in the front. But yeah, man, I think that, Marvel, DC introduced the multiverse. I thought that was huge. Now they can, anything they do can just be attributed to the multiverse. Walter Hamada came out and said that Zack Snyder's DCEU is Earth Prime. So in the scope of the multiverse, and yes, we're talking about comic books now for anyone who's jumped into the podcast. For the multiverse, Snyder's world, or Snyder's verse, is the main Earth for the DC multiverse. And they're going to start branching into different things and different views. I think that's where you might see Black Superman with what's his name, Michael B. Wright, or Michael B, whatever his name is. I think that's where you might see Black Batman, or you might see Batman who laughs. That might be somebody who comes into the picture in the future. Hamada said himself, it's limitless possibilities now, because they have the multiverse.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I could care less about Snyder's movies, at least his DC movies. I did think the trailer looked good, but I also thought I to this day, I can still watch the Man of Steel trailers and still get hyped to watch the movie, because those are the best trailers I think any film has ever had.
Something about his trailers.
The Man of Steel trailers are the best trailers I have ever seen for any movie, and I remember them in order of how they all released. That third one where Hans Zimmer kind of put that little bit of a John Williams score,
and then it starts building up.
And then you got the Nokia trailer, or doom 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 doom. I mean, just like the fourth one, the Man of Steel trailer,
the one where it starts out with the Krypton scene. Yes, it's got the piano playing.
Yes,
I watched Hans Zimmer do that live, and I was just like, I am a true geek. I'm sitting here on YouTube watching Hans Zimmer perform the Superman theme live. That's how much I'm into this.
Yeah, it was great. So I was fine with the trailer.
Real quick, because we got a couple super chats that I didn't get a chance to get to here. Let me go ahead and jump into them. We got Mikey Gussler for $5. Mikey, appreciate the $5. He says, off topic, but what do you think of the Snyder Cut trailer, Uche? You don't need to answer this, Jeremy. And we just kind of went through that just now. But I appreciate that $5 there, Mikey. Sorry for getting it handled so late there. But also we have Road Rager, $4.99. Appreciate that, Road Rager. He says, I stopped watching the NBA because I was an Atlanta Hawks fan, and they drafted and traded Luka for Trey. Yes, that is indeed quite the loss on Atlanta's side, because Dallas was willing to trade their entire next two drafts to get Luka Doncic, and the Atlanta Hawks drafted him, and I think that Dallas gave up like a first round for the next year, and their second round for the next year, along with their second round for that draft to get Luka. And it's the same kind of situation that happened with Dirk Nowitzki. They ended up getting Dirk Nowitzki through a trade, and that's your franchise player for the next 20 years. And they actually, the Mavericks feel like the Indianapolis Colts to a certain extent, because they got their franchise player who was there his entire career. Well, Peyton was there. We was in Denver for a year or two, or a year, so that's whatever. But and as soon as he leaves the next year, and he actually was there in Dirk's last season, but as soon as he leaves, you get another franchise player who's just phenomenal, Andrew Luck. And had it not been for the culture of bad, I would say, management of their players' health in Indianapolis, Andrew Luck would still be playing football to this day because this guy's body was destroyed and he played through it all and he played at a high level. And I was so bummed when people booed him when it was leaked that by Adam Schefter, who to this day I still kind of have very little love for in my heart for him doing this, is he put out there that Andrew Luck was going to retire before Andrew Luck could put it out. So Andrew Luck is live on the field being booed by fans. And of course, the realization had to have come to him a moment or so after that, oh my God, they must have found out that I'm retiring.
Yep.
And look, I'm not even necessarily mad at the fans per se for booing him, because the initial reaction of any fan who has a situation like that go down is they're going to be shocked and angry, or shocked and sad. But that may project itself in them booing. But at the end of the day, this guy he was done dirty by the organization. Now, coming back to what we were talking about, the Mavericks, what kind of luck, just like the Colts had that kind of luck with getting Andrew Luck. Yeah, no point. But what kind of fortune do you have where you have a Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Fame power forward, got you your first NBA title as a franchise, and got to the finals twice, perennial all-star, and then as soon as he retires, you get another European, all-star guys underestimate these European players, man. They can ball. They've been balling with grown-ups for 3 years before they came to the NBA. So, they're kind of seasoned in going out and just playing ball. And they get another one. So it becomes another opportunity for the Mavericks to get back to the championship, and I am happy about that. They're not going to do it this year, but with him and Kristaps Porzingis on the court, oh my goodness. Who's going to stop the Mavericks? They got a Dirk. They got a more athletic Dirk and Porzingis. Maybe not, and still a great outside shooter, better defender than Dirk. And then you got a shorter Dirk who's playing the two, who can shoot from anywhere.
Yeah, hella good. They got a hella good lineup, man.
Their franchise is about to be set for 10 years.
Yep. Hey, how much longer are you planning on going?
We can wrap it up here. I got one more super chat to go through. RC from NYC. What's up, Uche? $5 super chat. Appreciate that, brother. And he is a member on the offensive line. O-line. He says, what's up, Jeremy? What's up, Uche? Hope all is well. What are your current opinions on college football? Yay or nay? Okay, I guess we can wrap up the podcast with this topic here, and we're not going to take an hour like we did on the last one, but I think that and we've had this discussion as well. Like, I don't think I am firmly planted on any side of this college football debacle, which is what I would call it. It's a debacle because I place that squarely on the shoulders of the NCAA as an institution. I don't place it on the Big 12. I don't place it on the Big 10. I don't place it on the Pac-12. I don't place it on the SEC or ACC. I place it on the shoulders of the NCAA, because if you look at what the NFL did, the NFL created a structure and they created a environment for their players to play, because we are not missing a football season. We're going to put our players in. They're going to be isolated to their facilities. They're going to be isolated from the regular population, and we're going to play football. And anybody who becomes positive, which now we're finding out that 77 of those tests that were actually positives came back negative, were really negatives. So the NFL has done a really good job at keeping the players separate, or keeping them at the lowest possible risk of contracting the beer virus. Now, the NCAA didn't take that approach. They left it to the universities to follow guidelines that were already in place. And when you're talking about playing a football season, that is a very hard thing that's a very hard environment to create on limited resources. Now, people argue that players should be playing, but you got to think that these guys are amateur athletes who aren't being paid a dime. They have no benefits. They have no 401ks. They have no security for them should they get sick, and should they, worst case scenario, be hospitalized and be looking at possibly dying. Their school, their university is liable for their safety. And yes, a school like Ohio State most certainly could create their own bubble and operate and play a football season. Nobody doubts that. But they're not the only team in the Big Ten. And in the Big Ten, there might be 3 schools in the Big Ten that can handle that kind of financial burden to create that kind of bubble. It just does not. It's just not something that's going to be reasonable to ask of a university like Northwestern, Illinois, Indiana. These schools are not going. They don't have the resources, and if they do, if the university has the resources, they're not going to give it to the football team to create a bubble to have a football season. Now, does that mean that players does that mean that you shouldn't have college football this year? Hey, I don't know. That's a 50-50 throw it up in the air and see where it lands thing to me, because you can't. Who is going to be able to legitimately proclaim themselves national champion if there is 2 major conferences that didn't even get to play? How can you be a legitimate champion? You can't be. So you have a situation right now where the NCAA has just allowed this thing to go completely unchecked and without any real plan moving forward. And these universities, and on a bigger scale, these universities are not going to take that liability risk and put themselves in danger of being litigated against because people wanted to play football. You already see what's happening in the Big Ten right now. Schools have actually closed back down. They've closed back down 2 weeks after they opened, because Notre Dame closed down because they had 400 people get infected in 2 weeks. They said, no, we're shutting it back down. So I think that kind of backs up the perspective from the Pac-10 or from the Pac-12 in the Big Ten, that it's almost implausible to expect to have a football season when, one, there's no bubble in place, there's no structure to keep an isolated environment, and if the university itself can't even operate, then why are we thinking that we can do any better? They have more money than the football program does. So I feel like, again, and this is kind of anticlimactic, I just feel like if it don't make sense, it don't make sense. And that may not be something that is plot that sits in a functional manner for the SEC, because for the SEC, it makes sense to play football. I get that. In the Big Ten, it's big as well, but to a certain extent, these universities there's a lot of top universities in the Big Ten that they're just not going to allow that to happen. Not when they're liable, not when they hold liability, unless players will sign away their rights. And what parent who is responsible in any way, shape, or form would allow their child to sign away their rights? It's one thing to assume. It's one thing if it was a situation of something that we've dealt with before, but this is a novel virus. This is a situation that has forced leagues and our world in general to into unprecedented territory. There's no way you sign away your rights in that, knowing all those things, because you don't know what's going to happen.
You got parents. I mean, you're talking about, you can't imagine parents doing that. I mean, you have parents actively campaigning, rallying, saying that they have no confidence in the Big Ten commissioner, that their kids want to play football.
A lot of parents.
Like that's what you have going on right now with the Big Ten, like a huge movement. So there's a lot of parents out there who feel the exact opposite.
I mean, again, like I said, I can't imagine that anyone who understands what you actually are agreeing to when you sign away your rights, if something happens to your kid and he gets infected anywhere within the university atmosphere and is hospitalized, and let's say worst case scenario passes away from this virus, but as a result of complications from this virus, what do you think those parents are going to try and do first? Who do you think they're going to call? They're going to call a lawyer And you know what that lawyer's going to say? You're shit out of luck. You signed away your rights. You knew you were signing away your rights. You were assuming all risk and liability, and you agreed to it. That, from a legal standpoint, is the dumbest thing you could ever do. But you did it, and now your kid has suffered, unfortunately and tragically. But you have no legal standing to ask anything from this university or the football program. Period. So
from a fan standpoint, I really don't care about. I mean, college football is my favorite sport. I like college football over NFL, over NBA, over any sport, but I'm really not really looking forward to the college football season at all. With all of the craziness going on, I mean, it's kind of like the NBA. Like, I typically don't watch a lot of regular season NBA. I keep up with it so I can understand the storylines and what players are doing what. And I'll tune in late in games sometimes, but I really get plugged into the NBA for the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I just don't care about the bubble. I just don't have any vested interest in this season at all because of all the craziness going on, and college football is having that same impact. I mean, Alabama, my team, I mean, we've got a stud quarterback coming in, and obviously we lost Tua. I am looking forward to the NFL because it does seem like the NFL does have their structure in place. Again, once we get closer to the season, we'll see how that all ultimately plays out. But I am looking forward to the NFL. But college football is such a mess right now that I personally, just as a fan, I'm kind of checked out, and I'm not sure how I'm going to feel if and when we get to the half-assed season that we're heading to.
Who wants to have a season where you don't actually have the full play? You don't have the full competitions. Like, I'd rather not have the season than have it half-assed.
It's just pretty it's pretty.
And then, I don't and really I don't think there's a way to work spring ball. I don't think there's a way to do that. But if that ends up being the case, it's got to be all or nothing when it comes to this, because there's so many more colleges that have D1 college football that are outside of these major conferences that are but also they're affected, and you always have that Cinderella team that comes from a conference that ain't got nobody in it, but this team has been undefeated for like 2 years straight, and now they're ranked in the top 25 and they beat a big team that they finally got on their schedule. That is the story of college football every year, and that's part of what makes college football enjoyable, is that you have teams that can be, teams that are clearly not as talented as another squad, like Appalachian State versus Michigan, and they go into Michigan and beat Michigan. And now, in this year, that's a team that's ranked in the top 25. So, I want to see all aspects of college football operating rather than just the big Power 5 conferences and then the other the few major conferences outside of that. And if you're not going to get it, then just wait till next year. It sucks. Yeah, I get it, but they're worried about their money. That's why they want to have it this year. They're not. They got they're going to get their recruits. They're going to get their players. They ain't worried about none of that.
All I know is Monday I'm seeing Tenet. So all is going to be good.
Where are you watching it?
In Pensacola. No, in Pensacola.
Is it? It's in theaters. It's in whatever theaters are open, right? I think that's what it said.
Yeah.
Monday.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to go
Monday.
watch that too.
So 2020 is probably going to get redeemed.
2020 saved. Thank you, Chris Nolan. But yeah. So I think we got one. Do we have one more? No, that was it. So I think this is a good spot, to kind of wrap this thing up. Anybody got anything they want to say in closing that they want to?
Freaking
Thanks for letting me have so much time to speak, Uche. It's a pleasure. Glad I set aside this time.
Hey, listen, Ryan. Ultimately, you can't be a little bitch. All right, you got two grown ass men here arguing, and you gotta be a grown ass man and just work your way in the conversation.
No, you guys. One's dumb this way, the other's fucking dumb that way. I'm just sitting here looking at retards. Basically, all I'm doing.
We got drunk 3PO in here, bringing LeBron James bullshit into the discussion again.
It's funny how LeBron didn't protest yesterday, did he? Oh.
Yeah, LeBron's not protesting. He's not boycotting no game during the playoffs.
I actually did hear that LeBron James is protesting Reese's peanut butter cups because his head be looking like a Reese's after you unpack it. That little bit comes off the bottom. That's exactly what his fucking head looks like.
He just needs to shave his head, man. Stop holding on to it. That dude's been bald since he was like 28. I'm like, dude, where's your hairline going to? Like,
actually why he went to LA for some better hair transplant doctors.
Did you see remember when he used to wear the headband and it would be like on the top? And I remember when they were playing the Mavericks and Jason Terry knocked it off his head, and you're just like, look at LeBron, where's your hair? It's all like frizzed out to the side and all these little bald spots.
He's the worst. He's terrible. Hey, by the way, breaking news. I did buy PGA 2020.
Oh, I got it too.
But I got it on PS4. I'll buy it on Steam if I need to. So
yeah, I got it. It's a good game. It's hard.
So I'm gonna get started on it here tonight, hopefully. So did you get the video made, Ryan?
Yeah, it's up. I put it up. I came in when I was waiting for it to be officially monetized, and it's monetized, so I put it up
until it ain't monetized.
Well,
I think the Dan Snyder one might not go because I said their old team name. Maybe.
Oh, you talking about Washington?
Yeah. I think that's the reason that one kept getting limited. That's the only thing I can think of.
Will they demonetize you for saying that? For saying the old name?
No telling.
I don't know.
I'm trying not to say it right now because I keep wanting to go. The Washington.
I can't. You think how many people say San Diego Chargers still? Imagine the first broadcaster who slips and says the old
he'll
team
get canceled.
name.
He'll get canceled.
He's out by halftime. They pull him off.
Hey, the trailer for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War just dropped.
You mean by just dropped? You mean like 2 hours ago?
2 hours ago?
For Game Over Geeks.
So that's RC. I met RC when I was in New York. So
you
been a big time supporter, man. I like that dude. He's been supporting like literally from the first day I started like doing streams. So and he's one of my members on my channel, which I really appreciate. So
RC, I didn't know you said that. I thought Jeremy was telling me that, and I was like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. I already made a video for your channel, but I would never install you like that.
Hey, so you guys, we don't want to. Do we want to watch it right now?
I haven't seen it, so we can watch it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do a quick little watch on it.
Uche told us this is only going to be an hour, just so you guys know.
Well, and he started 15 minutes late.
Yeah. Well, somebody
cancel Uche.
Somebody had to restart their HP pavilion from fucking 1999. It takes 10 minutes to load back up.
Bullshit. That happened when we were ready to go at a quarter after.
Oh no. I was here at 3 o'clock. Yeah, I was on at 3 o'clock.
Hell no. I came in backstage at 3 o'clock and I see you fucking in your wife beater fucking picking up a towel doing some shit.
Yeah, I saw that too. I
was fucking knocking fucking the popcorn that I dropped on the floor. Yes. I was swiping it away so it wasn't in the camera. I'm like, shit.
I didn't know what the fuck he was
doing. To pick this shit up.
I was like, what the fuck is he doing?
I'm like, I'm going to get it in a minute. And then when I sat down, I was like, "Oh, that camera's been on the whole time, eh? All right."
Well, DSP. Oh, camera's been on this whole time, huh?
But I didn't care. I was like, "Shit." I wasn't. I was just knocking, out of the camera's view. That's all.
Dude, this hurricane is powerful as fuck. They just upgraded to 145, and they're anticipating it to be 150 at landfall.
Damn. Damn,
brutal.
What's the record for? I think we've
at landfall. I can't remember what the record was at landfall. I think there's been a couple.
Everyone needs to go out and vote and put an end to these hurricanes.
Cancel the hurricanes.
All right, let's watch this trailer. I got shit to do after this. So.
You pull it up and I'll.
Oh shit! You want me to do it?
Yeah, dude. I'm
Black man making the white boy work.
Yeah. Try ask to work.
Let's see.
This got banned in China, right?
So no. So the initial teaser got banned in China because it had 1 second of Tiananmen Square footage. They banned it in China. Then Activision bent the knee and they edited it out. Probably because China said
you ain't gonna sell that here.
You're not gonna sell it here.
And I mean, yeah, I guess I can see from from the Chinese standpoint, they don't want that to be seen by people. I've seen a couple documentaries on the Tiananmen Square, and that was crazy.
It's just the ultimate irony that trailer that was all about "Don't forget your history, you'll be doomed to repeat it." That trailer gets fucking edited because China is literally the same way it was back then.
Yes, and we are playing Call of Duty tonight on Gaming with Geeks Geeks and Gamers on Twitch.
Oh yeah,
here we go.
Let's do it. Okay.
This war,
PS5.
Years of blood. Just to light the fuse of a secret war, decades in the making.
This is confirmed to be a direct sequel to Black Ops.
My fellow Americans, a nuclear conflict would
Black Ops 1?
last.
Yeah, it had to be the old one.
5 days ago, we acquired intel. Soviet agent Perseus is in play. If he's active, something big is going to happen. Something that could shift the balance of the Cold War.
Let's go find this shithead.
Whoa.
Come on, get in.
Tell me how should I feel?
Mr. President, is the threat real?
Yes, sir, we believe it is.
Give Mr. Adler whatever he wants.
This was part of the plan.
I know you won't fail us.
There's more if you keep watching.
We ordered digital copy.
Yeah, I want to see some gameplay.
And instant access to the woods.
You're not really.
Modern warfare, including Warzone.
Damn.
That's for coming September 9th. They're going to do their multiplayer. So
Nice.
now a couple things. This is so you have Mason, you have Woods back, you have Hudson back, a lot of the guys from Black Ops, but you will be playing as your own character that you create, completely customizable, skin tone, gender, whatever. They even have an option for you to leave your gender as classified so they can give you non-gendered pronouns. If you want that to happen in the game, but they're also going to the gameplay itself for the campaign. You're going to have options, kind of more of they described it as almost like Hitman, a couple different ways to accomplish what you want instead of typical Call of Duty straight up. Yeah.
Run and gun.
So
I think it looks dope. You
the
know what? I'm not sure. When are the graphics going to look like? I'm not blown away by any graphics from either one of the next gen systems. I'm not blown away by either one of them in any way.
That one looked a lot like. So I would say Modern Warfare, the last one. I think that kind of stepped it up a little bit for the campaign. This one looks like it's in the same engine.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Doesn't look next gen. But if you want the next gen, all you got to do is pay $10 more.
Wow, they monetizing people. Oh, are they doing that right? Are they going to the $69.99 for games?
Cross gen. If you want a cross gen game that you're gonna be able to play on both PS4 and PlayStation 5 from them, $70.
You can buy one. You can buy the $70. $70 will get you the version for each one. It'll get you all the versions.
Right.
See that makes I can vibe with that a little bit more. If you pay $70 for a game, you should be able to play that game on any system that it's on. Period. You shouldn't have to rebuy a game just because it's on a new system. But I just feel like it's not going to be till year 2 or year 3 of PS5 and Series X that we're actually going to see any something that looks truly next gen. They've gone to another level with it.
Just give me Mario Kart 9. That's all I care about.
I want to see Mario Kart on Unreal Engine 5. That's what I
Fuck
want
that.
to see.
Fuck no.
Dude.
No.
Mario's gonna be 6'2".
I mean, we got a really we got like a ridiculous Mario Kart arcade that wasn't made by Nintendo necessarily, that had, different animations and stuff. And honestly, I mean, it's fine, but it's not Mario Kart. Like, it doesn't have the feel. It doesn't have the same magic that a Mario Kart game does. It's a Mario Kart game with Namco characters, but it just doesn't have that Nintendo magic behind it. So, but they did, by the way, did you see where they did another Direct Mini, Brian? Nintendo? Oh God,
I saw a bunch of
losing their goddamn
I saw a bunch of Nintendo people bitching today, and I just assumed that's what happened.
Well, what happened?
So Nintendo hasn't done a full Nintendo Direct in over a year now. And there's been this rumors for fucking ever that they're going to do a full Nintendo Direct, because they haven't done much this year. And then recently there was this rumors, it's going to be a Nintendo Direct. And they came up with a Nintendo Direct mini partner showcase, where it's basically a lot of third-party titles where they're showcasing. And that disappointed a lot of people. And then there's been this big rumor that there's going to be this epic Direct coming, and everybody's been talking about it. And today, unannounced, fucking Nintendo just uploads another Direct mini partner showcase on the fucking YouTube channel.
Well, guys, everybody is boycotting every NBA team.
Every NBA team? Oh my God.
There will be no NBA games today.
Woo! Hey,
day off.
To talk about
Shoot,
it. That's something to talk about.
That's what they really are. Really, that's what they're happy about. We get the day off. I know that's how we was in football. Shoot, we was in football. I'm telling you, man. People were thinking about it, obviously, as they more than likely would on the political side. But dude, the players in the locker room are like, shit, about to go get on 2K. I'm gonna play that the rest of the day. Yeah.
LeBron tweeted, "Fuck this, man. We demand change. Sick of it."
Oh God, LeBron.
Here's the Direct Mini. Look at that like ratio, man. It's pretty rough. So 44,000 upvotes to 30,000 downvotes. So they're mad. So see what the comments say.
30,000 downvotes. Damn.
And it's actually a pretty good partner showcase too. But Nintendo fans want that Mario 3D remaster, which I do too. So I want that fucking announcement.
Yeah, the Mario, the one from 64, right?
They're gonna have Super Mario 64, Super Mario Galaxy, and Super Mario Sunshine, apparently all remastered, coming out together.
I'd buy that. It's crazy because ever since like Mario 3, original Mario 3, after Super NES, I think I just never played Mario again. I respect and I like Mario, but for some reason I just don't play
Galaxy
games. But I did play Galaxy. Galaxy was cool. I love tennis. I love the tennis game. I love Mario Kart. Mario Kart I played since I was little. Like I've always known about Mario Kart, but I just never played. I never played a lot of the newer single player Mario games. Mario Party is dope. I like Mario Party. But
let's see. Yeah, man, there's all kind of craziness going on. So we're going to have to make some more videos. So
yeah. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, bring this to a close. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Appreciate you guys being here with us. We started off talking about sports. Sports turned into politics. Politics turned back into sports. And sports turned into video games. And now we're out of here. So again, I appreciate Jeremy and Ryan for being on the podcast. You can check us out on Spotify. I'm on Spot. The podcast will be on Spotify, Anchor.fm, iTunes. You can find it across the board. Just type in Lineman Life Podcast. Appreciate you guys very much, and we will catch you all on the next one. Make sure you check out Sports Wars. Make sure you check out Geeks and Gamers. We'll see you soon. Adios.